Hello, sound designers. Welcome to my channel. This is weird for me. This is my first time recording myself uploading a video to YouTube, so please bear with me while I get my bearings. The intention of this channel is to discuss and listen to audio of all shapes and sizes, with a focus on game audio and career advice for those people who are starting off, aspiring to get their foot in the door, or maybe you're a junior sound designer and you're trying to improve. This channel, the intention is to help people get up on their feet, basically, with sound design, especially when it relates to game audio. So the first video that I wanted to do is in relation to, what you need in order to get your foot in the door at a game studio. What's expected of you if you're applying for a junior sound designer role or maybe even an internship. I mean, there's actually quite a bit involved in getting your foot in the door. I know from firsthand experience, it can be challenging, but as I say all the time, it's the best job in the world. If you're passionate about video games, sound, this is, I would rather be doing nothing else with my life. So it requires quite a bit of effort, but once you get there, it is truly worth the time and effort to arrive in game audio. So let me kick things off. Often I see aspiring sound designers who want to get started on their career, but have no idea where to start. A lot of people, including myself, come from a music background, and they have no idea if the skills that they have spent a lot of time learning over the past few years apply to sound design and game audio. This was, as I mentioned, the exact situation that I found myself in before I was hired. So I wanted to share my personal experience and some tips to help you land that dream job. Yes, so there's more to discuss about basically all of these topics, I would say. I plan to kind of go into a little bit more detail in separate videos. So yes, make sure that you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss them. So first point, technical knowledge. I see this pop up quite a bit because I think there's quite a bit of misunderstanding. People spend a lot of time, if you're coming from a music production background, maybe you've spent years potentially learning about mixing, learning about compression and different types of effects and, EQing and creating space in your mix and all of these things. Maybe this is all that I need in order to get my foot in the door. This is a bit of an oversight, I would say, because while all of these skills and techniques and all of this knowledge is very, very valuable, in fact, I would say it's essential in order to get your foot in the door in game audio, it's definitely not the only thing that you need to know. So I see a lot of people wondering, asking questions. Do I need to know Wwise is a big one, right? Do I need to know a middleware? Do I need to know how to implement my own audio? Do I need to know how to use a game engine? Do I need to know how to work with a game engine? Yes, you do need to know this stuff to a certain extent, I would say. It can feel like a huge challenge at first. Like I said, you've possibly spent 5+ years learning how to use your DAW, how to record, how to mix, etc. And now there's this whole new area of expertise you're expected to learn to get your foot in the door at a game studio that you've barely even heard of before, and you really don't know how to even get started. But it is not all bad news, because there is actually a very clear path to success here that you can easily work towards by following a very clearly defined path. Oh, my doggy is looking for me to throw the ball. So yes, that path that I mentioned lies within the Audio Kinetic Wwise online course, which I'm going to link in the description below. It's an introductory course. It's not the most exciting undertaking in the world, but it is absolutely essential knowledge. Know the basics, I would say. And this course, while not very exciting, will get you the skills that you need to get your foot in the door as a junior sound designer. It'll show you the foundations of Wwise as a tool, and it'll show you some basic implementation methods using a game engine. I believe there's a Unity game that you can actually, dive into and take it step by step, and you can replace the sounds in the game yourself. So this is all great stuff. You can even use that footage then to, add to your demo reel, which we will also get into in a little while. What is my dog doing? He's doing something. Yes, so having this knowledge and being able to talk about the basics of Wwise in an interview is a fantastic place to start your career. It's a tool you will use every day in your work. and without having some basic understanding of Wwise, you will be at a tremendous disadvantage when applying for sound design roles at any game studio. So yes, I recommend following the link in the description to go to Audiokinetic's website and spend the time going through their course, because that is very, very valuable. Okay, so moving on to the next section, which is, God, it's a big one. It's a very, very big one. It's the demo reel / portfolio topic. It may, in fact, be the single most valuable thing you can work on as an aspiring sound designer. There is a lot to discuss on this topic, and I have a lot of tips to offer in regard to how you can make a perfect, quote-unquote, perfect demo reel, or at the very least, put your best foot forward. So I'm going to do a separate video discussing this in a bit more detail very, very soon, next week. Another reminder to subscribe to me so that you can get those tips when it goes live. The TLDR of the demo reel topic is keep it short. Somewhere between 60 to 90 seconds is often considered to be sort of the sweet spot. Only include your best work. Game studios are very, very busy places. Developers are very, very busy. Hiring managers, audio leads, all very, 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 very busy people. So you don't want to piss them off, basically, by having, 3 minutes of ambience that, I'm sure sounds great, but it doesn't necessarily highlight your versatility or what you're interested in designing, what sort of games you would like to work on, etc. Do keep it short, do keep it focused, and make sure that you're highlighting your best work. Make sure that it fits the vibe of the studio, the quote-unquote vibe of the studio, and reflects what type of games you're interested in. So, for example, if you are applying to work at Santa Monica Studios, they just announced a new God of War game. Huge budget, huge AAA, cinematic, very, very explosive action, hyper-realistic, violent, all of those things. If you're applying for a junior sound designer role at Santa Monica Studios, there is no point in including a redesign of, a SNES game or something, right? It's not what that studio is interested in, and you should not include it in your demo reel. Yes, and lastly, maybe make sure it is well presented. And delivered in the correct format. Don't send a SoundCloud link. Don't send an email with an MP3 file attached to it. You are at an immediate disadvantage if you do that. Studios expect a video, showing that you can design linear content, that you can design, and they want the visual accompaniment because it's such a core part of what we do. The story, how visuals and sounds sync up together and connect together is really, really crucial in terms of your skill set as a sound designer. How you present your demo reel and how you present yourself is a very, very easy way to get a win and get a leg up over the competition. The last thing that I will also mention, because I do see this come up quite often, don't include any music in your demo reel if you are applying for a sound designer position. The hiring manager, the lead, whoever is reviewing it wants to hear all the details. We don't really want to hear music masking, an exciting action sequence, for example. We're really interested in hearing, the surface types, how does, this character has moved from sand to snow or something, right? We want to hear those transitions. We want to hear the detail in the Foley, so definitely don't include any music. The details are very, very important. It's a detail-oriented craft, after all. Including some footage that has evidence or includes some audio footage of a game that you've implemented yourself. So whether that's something from the Audiokinetic Wwise course, or maybe it's a personal project that you've been working on in order to skill up. You've been learning Unreal, or you've been learning Unity, or whichever game engine you've decided to dive into. Having that included in your demo reel can be a very, very positive look, because it just shows like, this person, has already taken the time to learn Wwise, and they've, implemented it into a game. Like, this is all very, very good stuff. My personal opinion is that it would be better to have a very strong linear demo reel with no implementation, if it sounds better, right? So let's At the end of the day, this 60 to 90 second video of your work needs to be the stuff that sounds the best, right? So, and of course, as we discussed before, you have the knowledge already built up. You know what you're talking about to some extent, right? When it comes, you don't need to be a pro, you don't need to be a wizard, a wise wizard, but you do know what you're talking about when it comes to Wwise, and you can answer some basic questions about Wwise, and there's, you know, maybe evidence elsewhere on your website or on your CV or wherever that you already know how to do some implementation. So yeah, make your demo reel short. Don't include music. Deliver it in the correct format. Make sure that it's curated with the content that you want to work on and that the studio that you're applying to works on, and make it sound good. Of course, the most important thing, it should sound great. Yes. So moving on from that, what DAW should you learn? This is another big talking point that a lot of people are confused about, worried about, concerned about. Do I need to learn a specific DAW? Oh my God, do I need to know a specific DAW? The answer, luckily, is no. You don't. You don't really need to know a specific DAW. If you've been learning Logic, or like myself, if you become an Ableton enjoyer, that's totally fine. It really doesn't matter. You know one DAW, you know it very well. The DAW that you choose is simply the tool that you use to get the end result, right? Somebody who's coming in to paint my house, I wouldn't ask them, you know, to use a specific paintbrush, or I wouldn't ask the guy who's the carpenter who's making my table what type of hammer he's using, right? It doesn't really matter as long as the table turns out good and the beautiful pink walls turn out beautiful and pink. I really don't care how we got there. And luckily, game studios tend to look at things the same way. The DAW you choose is simply the tool you use to get the end results, the best results possible. If I need to use Reaper or Nuendo for something specific, I can do that because most DAWs share many similarities, I would say. But in my career so far, my God, don't bite the squeaky toy. Bear with me 1 second while I silence the squeaky toy. Chip, no. Yes. So if you're interested in starting from scratch when it comes to learning a DAW, by the way, Digital Audio Workstation, DAW. Yes, if you're interested in learning something from scratch and wondering what the quote-unquote best DAW is for game audio, I would probably recommend Reaper. It's by far the most common DAW used in the industry because it's very customizable. It can be used to write scripts to automate some of the more tedious tasks in game audio, such as exporting batches of assets, for example, creating quick variations for prototyping, a new feature, something like that. And of course, multiple designers working in the same DAW is always pretty handy because it allows them to easily share sessions and collaborate on designs very easily. So use the DAW that you're most comfortable with and that you can get the best results from. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Squeaky toy is back. I'm going to silence it. So the last thing I wanted to talk about on this video is soft skills. Perhaps the most overlooked and underappreciated skill set that is required for working in game audio. That includes stuff like your passion for gaming, your passion for sound, your attitude, the way you think and talk about sound design, etc., etc. Hard skills, your engine or middleware knowledge, your sound design skills in general, like they can be improved, they can be learned simply by spending time doing them, right? It's impossible to train people to love games. You can't go to a boot camp that develops a passion for sound design, right? Those things are hard to find and they're even harder to improve. So make sure you're letting your love for games and for audio be felt when you're in the interview process, or when you're, even when you're applying, whether it's a cover letter, in your CV, whatever the case may be. And another incredibly important soft skill is team fit. We have quite a big-ish team. There's maybe eight of us or so on the team, and we all gel very, very well together. It's incredibly collaborative. Game development in general, hugely collaborative industry. So you need to be on the same page with your peers. You need to be approachable. You need to be willing to take feedback on board, and you need to be able to offer feedback in the right way. You need to maintain a positive attitude towards your work. You could be the most talented sound designer in the world, right? Like, I don't know who that person is. They're out there somewhere. But nobody wants to work with an asshole. You need to be collaborative. You need to be a good person. It will get you a long way. It will allow you to grow your career. There will be a path forward for you. You'll get promotions. You'll get on with people. Your skills will improve because you'll be able to get tips from people, and you'll be listening, and you'll be offering advice, and all of those things. That's how great sound designers are crafted, I think. Soft skills, very, very, very important. Isn't that right, Chip? Chip knows all about soft skills too. He's looking at this little green cactus thing, saying, "Shut up talking and throw the thing for me. I'm trying to get squeaky in here," which I'm going to allow him to do very shortly. So yes, there you have it. A handful of things that I would consider to be essential when it comes to taking your first steps into the world of game audio. Is there something that I missed? Make some noise in the comments and let me know what tips you have for others who maybe are trying to get their foot in the door at a game studio. Maybe you're a junior and it's taking you 2-3 years to get a role, to get an interview, to land a job, but you eventually did it. What made the difference in your opinion? What got you in the door? Very, very interested to know. And if you're serious about sound, and if you're serious about getting a career and developing a career in game audio, sign up for my newsletter in the description box below, where I'm going to be offering tips, I'm going to be offering goodies, I'm going to be offering sound design packs, templates, all sorts of crazy cool audio things on a weekly basis. And it's totally free. So sign up for that. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Stay sound. You guys, you better stay sound, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Thank you very much.